All right, so I'm getting ready to embark on an epic journey. Just like last year, I'm going to be taking a very long solo road trip in the Model Y, and I'm going to be camping in the car. So this time I have a new mattress to try out. I have been helping to develop this mattress for quite some time. After a number of prototypes, we think we've got it dialed in just right. So our first stop on this trip is going to be Giga Austin, and I'm so excited to see the place. I've heard so much about it, and I've seen plenty of pictures online, and I don't think I'm really truly prepared for how big this place is. So tonight, I'm going to get as close as I can to Austin, and then tomorrow, I'll finish up and get to the plant. So I'm bringing a bunch of equipment with me so that we can film the plant. I'm really excited about this. After that, I'm going to head north into Colorado, probably stay in Colorado Springs, do some camping out there, and then finally head home before the end of the week. So that's kind of the plan at the moment. Let's take a look at our first leg of this trip. So our first leg is quite a distance, and this doesn't really do a good job with this update of telling you how many miles it is and how long it's going to take to get there. It tells you estimated time of arrival, but this is definitely more than 1,000 miles, probably close to 1,100 miles to get all the way to Austin. Now, I am probably going to stop somewhere around Denison, Texas, which is just north of Dallas. So this Denison charger right here, that'll probably be about as far as I make it. So just to the Texas state line before having to stop for the night. Now, because I'm charged at 99%, I can make it all the way to Effingham, and I should arrive there at 16%, be there about 11 o'clock. Now, it will go back an hour due to the time zone, so it'll actually be more like 10 o'clock, but I'm all packed up. I've got all the bedding I need. I've also got my refrigerator, which you can find at formytesla.com. And code BTGCOOL will save you like 50 bucks on this thing. So I don't have it plugged in at the moment, but I have it packed full of drinks. So we'll be ready to go there. I'm really enjoying this. This is the third trip I've taken this on, and I wasn't sure I'd use it so much, but man, I really do. And I usually don't plug it in for a while. So with that, gonna be there about 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central. 2 hours and 37 minutes, 173 miles. What's up, everybody? BTG here, and I have once again partnered with Charity Stars, and this time they're giving away a 2022 Rivian R1T. The R1T, of course, is a revolutionary truck that has all-wheel drive, seating for 5, maximum towing capacity of 11,000 pounds, an absolutely staggering 835 horsepower, as well as 908 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and EPA rated 314 miles of range. To enter the sweepstakes, all you have to do is go to www.charitystars.com/BTG. To this day, most students in elementary schools are not receiving arts and music classes on a consistent basis. Adopt the Arts officially launched in the fall of 2012 by adopting a Title I elementary school and donating 1,000 instruments to LA USD schools. Adopt the Arts is dedicated to providing art and music classes to K through 5th grade students during the school day, raising awareness about the funding for art education across the country, and building partnerships to ensure that all students have a well-rounded education regardless of where they live or go to school. So if you want a chance to win an R1T plus $10,000 in cash, plus have proceeds go to support Adopt the Arts, make sure to go to charitystars.com/BTG. So we're here at Effingham, made pretty good time, 9:52 local, so we're back to Central Time. This time it was nice because my clock updated automatically, which it's been struggling to do on the last couple of trips. So what we've got to do here, unfortunately, with the new user interface, it's going to be a little funky, but 175 miles, 60 kilowatt hours consumed, 345 watt hour per mile, which honestly isn't that bad considering it was a little wet for most of that. And we do have a bit of a headwind, but an unseasonably awesome 64 degrees outside. So I am not complaining about that. So anyways, we are supposed to be here for about 20 minutes and then we'll be on our way to Collinsville, Illinois. And I'm gonna go ahead and get plugged in. It's in a gas station parking lot. So I'm gonna get something to eat while I'm here as well. Just something small to hold me over, because I'll try to hold off for lunch until the next stop. So let's go ahead and get plugged in and get this rolling. All right, it says we still have 5 minutes, but we have way more charge than enough. I wasn't paying attention. We only have 89 miles to go to get to Collinsville, Illinois. So 63% charge. I am gonna go ahead and unplug. Unfortunately, like our previous videos, we can no longer show you how much this trip cost. So apologize about that, but we are at 63%. Gonna go ahead and unplug now. Should arrive about, what's that, 15%. Should be there about 11:30. Unplugging now. So we arrived at 18%, supposed to be here for 25 minutes. It's in the parking lot of a Casey's, which is a gas station here in the Midwest. And they have a little bit of a pizza thing going on in there, but there is some food in there. Home Depot, there's a whole bunch of actually stuff on the way in if you want to hit that up. But again, I'm supposed to be here for 25 minutes. I am going to go ahead and get plugged in, and I'm going to get a bite to eat. As it started ramping up charging, I didn't even realize this is a V3 charger, which is really awesome. Glad about that. That's a good surprise. So anyways, V3. So should be getting a pretty good charge while we're here. Now that last leg was 91 miles, 34 kilowatt hours consumed, and a really high 373 watt hour per mile. We are hitting some pretty strong headwind as we continue to move west. So we're looking at like 20 mile an hour gusts on the highway straight ahead of us. So that is not helping, even though the temperature is definitely getting better. It's actually dropped just a smidge down to 58. But we should be seeing the temperature continue to go up as we continue to head west and south. All right, we still have a minute left to go, and normally I would have left already at 119 miles. 78% is way more than enough. However, with the headwinds, and this is a tip for you, when you've got quite a bit of wind and you're consuming quite a bit more energy than normal, you're going to want to play it safe. So it says we should arrive at 14%, 15%, and should be there about 1:45. We'll be in Rolla, Missouri. Gonna go ahead and unplug now at 79%. So we arrived at 22%, supposed to be here for only 20 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get plugged in. It is in the parking lot of a place called Bandanas, I believe. It's a barbecue joint, so actually pretty cool. There were a couple things on the way in. It is a little bit off of the highway. You gotta go around and over. Anyways, gonna get plugged in for 20 minutes and we'll get moving on to the next charger, which is 105 miles away. That last leg was 121 miles, 340 watt hour per mile. The wind is getting a little bit better, 41 kilowatt hours consumed. All right, so we were sitting at 66%, supposed to be here for 5 more minutes, but 67% with 105 miles to go. That is plenty of charge. So our next stop is Springfield. 105 miles, should be there in about an hour and a half and arrive at 16%. Gonna go ahead and unload now. So we arrived at 18%. I do want to get plugged in really quickly, but we're at Springfield Supercharger and it is a V2. Go over here to trips and 106 miles, 36 kilowatt hours consumed, 338 watt hour per mile, which is pretty normal. It's in the parking lot of a gas station. There is a hotel right over there and there's not a lot of dining options. There's like a Waffle House I would not recommend, but anyways, I'm gonna get plugged in. I'm supposed to be here for 40 minutes and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna change this up. All right, so if you watch, it says 40 minutes and I'm watching the arrival time of 10:31 in Denison, Texas. Now, I don't wanna sit here for 40 minutes because there's a supercharger in between this one and the next one. And unfortunately, with the new layout, it's very hard to tell where things are. So if we go into our trip right here and we add a stop and we hit charging, I can now see this Joplin charger and it is a V3 250 kilowatt charger. So if I just add that to the trip, let's see what it does to this stop. Turns into 15 minutes and we'll stop at the next one for 20 minutes. So there's 5 minutes. I thought earlier it said 15. So anyways, it does save you some time. And now look at our arrival time. We did just save some time and it's going to continue to do things like this. So if you, unfortunately, it's not a straightforward finding these chargers anymore since there's no longer a button to find them. But when you come to a stop and it's a long charging stop, like 40 minutes like that, see if there's a way to jump to the next charger and save you some time. So this time it's only gonna save us 5 minutes, but it was 10 minutes earlier. So anyways, that's what we're gonna do. Gonna sit here, charge for 15 and get to Joplin. All right, so we're way overcharged, 50% to get to Joplin, which is 75 miles away. Should be able to get there with 16% or better. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug. Should be about an hour, just over an hour to get there. Get unplugged and get to Joplin. So we arrived here, 19% at 5:05. Supposed to be here now for 15 minutes. Like I said at the last place, it said 20 when we left. As soon as we hit the road, dropped to 15 like I had predicted. So that saved us 10 minutes by splitting that 40-minute charge into two 15-minute chargers. So I'm gonna go ahead and get plugged in, and again, for 15 minutes, it's in a come and go parking lot and it looks like a Go Fresh market. So it says sandwiches, pizza, bakery, and more. Actually a decent place to potentially get some food. So let's get plugged in and figure out what's next. All right, this is the first time this has happened at a V3, but we are having a charging fail because this continues to drop quickly in charging speed. We're only at 23%. I'm gonna unplug and try a different stall. All right, so here's the situation. This is the fourth charger I've plugged into. Again, this is a V3 charger, so nobody's splitting charge. And we're supposed to get up to 250. So I'm at 27 kilowatts charge rate right now. This is gonna take forever. So I'm gonna get just enough charge to make it to Catoosa, Oklahoma, and I'm just gonna have to go. So I'm gonna have to play this a little sketchy because I'm thinking what I'm going to do at 97 miles away. I really don't wanna wait till this hits 50%. That's gonna take a while. So I will just have to sit here and get as close to 50% as I have patience for, and then go from there. We're gonna lose a lot of time by doing this. Well, what was supposed to be a way to save some time turned out to be a nightmare, because for whatever reason, these Joplin V3 chargers, there's some big issue, and finally half the people left, and I'm back up to 90 kilowatt all of a sudden. So I was stuck at single digits up to 30 for most of the time. But now I have 51% and I'm going to unplug and go. So let's take a look. All right, so now we are sitting at 51%. I've got that 97 miles to go, should be there in an hour and a half. I did lose quite a bit of time. I lost about 40 minutes with this charge. And as you can see, we're charging at a normal rate at this point, which is really a bummer. I don't know what the deal was, but I've never experienced that before. So anyways, we have an hour and a half to go. Should be able to arrive about 8%. So I am gonna unplug and go and hit that next charger. Well, my screen is frozen at the moment, so while I wait for that to reboot, we did make it to the charger, and I was not expecting this. The charger is in the parking lot of the Hard Rock Casino, so yeah. We arrived at 8%, and we're supposed to be here for about an hour to charge, so there's plenty to do here if you do have to charge. The only thing about this particular charger is it's a V2, and since it's at a casino, it seems to be really busy. The whole time here, it just kept showing that there was a wait. Right now, there's only a couple stalls available. Yeah, so whether you like a casino or not, the nice thing is there's tons of dining options around here and plenty of things to do, which can really help pass the time. This particular charger is a gap between two chargers, so there's quite a distance between them. It's going to take the entire charge to get to the next charger because there's nothing in between, so it's kind of a spot in the middle that's missed, and hopefully Tesla will be adding a charger there soon. So you have to charge to 100% basically from here to get to the next one, so we don't really have a choice anyways. All right, so there we go, screen's unfrozen, so ramping up on speed there. Let's take a look. That, yeah, I lost it when the screen reset. Unfortunately, I lost that last trip, but it was something like 336 watt-hour per mile. So apologize, we lost all that information. So far, 664 miles have done 340 watt-hour per mile. So our average is finally coming down now that we're out of the wind and things are more normal. So we're gonna let this charge. It says 45 minutes now, and let me show you this next little leg here. So our next stop is what I'm planning to be the last stop tonight, which is Denison, Texas. And that is basically the first city in Texas on this route once this loads. So once we get to Denison, that's basically where I'm planning to call it a night. And it says 12:41 at the moment, and something's just kind of hokey here right now. It's not actually. Everything's resetting, everything's recalibrating since that restart. So anyways, I'm just gonna let this charge for about 45 minutes, and we'll pick this back up once this all kind of gets a chance to reset. All right, so here's the deal. We are at 97%. I'll let it round up to 98. We have 191 miles to go, so over 3-hour drive. It is already 8:30 p.m. here, which is 9:30 p.m. at home, which means we'd get there at 11:30 local time, 12:30 my time, which I think I can make it. So we're just gonna hit the road and see what happens. If I can't make it, I'll find a place to pull over and we'll set up shop somewhere along the way. So anyways, gonna go ahead and unplug now, and we're going to try to make it to Texas. right, so we made it to the last stop of the night at 6%. So let's take a look here. It says 30 minutes, but I'm actually gonna just charge it up. So we will be figuring out where we're gonna sleep right after this. But for now, let's get it plugged in. That last leg was 193 miles, 65 kilowatt hours consumed, 338 watt hour per mile. All right, so I actually have quite a bit of work to do. I've got to get everything set up in the back. I'm gonna figure out if I'm just gonna stay here or if I'm gonna go find a different place to park to sleep. My one idea is going back like 2 miles to the Welcome Center. That might be where I sleep, or else I'm gonna just stay here. So I got all the lights on. We are charging at full speed. I'm gonna go ahead and get things moving so I can get this ready for bed. And just so you know, this particular spot, there is absolutely nothing out here. It's in the parking lot of something that's being built, although I have no idea what it is. So there's nothing out here. So don't plan on having any amenities at this particular V3 charger. So here's the status. I charged to 90% and I stopped charging there because we have enough to get to the next charger at 20%. So in the morning, I'm actually probably gonna top off, or I'll hit one of these chargers here in Dallas. So let's show you how to do that. Look at the chargers. So there's one right in the middle of Dallas. There's one here. I mean, there's several of them. So we should have more than enough. We should be all set. And as far as tonight goes, I'm gonna try to make this spot work because it's secluded and it's right next to the highway. So I feel like if I absolutely had to, I could get out. But I got the bed set up. I've got the roof covered. I've got all the back windows covered, all of them. So all I have left are the 2 front windows and the windshield. So I'm just gonna pull out of the way, out of the supercharging stall to be out of the way. And I'm gonna call it a night right here. So I'll pick this back up in the morning. It's 12:15 in the morning right now. So hopefully about 8 o'clock. Hopefully I can sleep that late. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm sure it gets pretty busy here in the morning. So I will catch up with you guys bright and early. All right, situation update. I found some homeless guys at that charger. So I moved down one exit and I'm in the parking lot of a hotel that's well lit and has plenty of privacy. So this is where we're gonna set up now. So very, very dark in here, very nice, even though there's really bright lights in the parking lot. So I think that this is the spot we're gonna stay tonight. So we're sitting at 88%, and essentially what we wanna do is we wanna turn on camp mode as soon as we're ready. So once I get in the back and I'm all situated, I'll put my hand on the driver's seat to put some weight on it to turn the screen on, and I'll turn camp mode on, and I'll probably keep it down about 66, so not too warm. It is 60 degrees outside, so we shouldn't use too much energy. So we'll see, 88%. Let's see what it is when we wake up, 12:30 in the morning. Well, good morning. Had a great sleep back here. Nice and comfy, nice and dark last night. So it's 8:30. So let's take a look and see how much energy we used with camp mode on last night. All right, so we used about 9%. Yeah, 9%, a lot more than I expected. But we used 9% over 8 hours. So it is 72 degrees outside and we had it set at 66. So there you have it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything torn down so that we can hit the road. All right, well, I'm now packed up and I'm ready to roll. Got the car all put back together and I've got Giga Austin set on navigation. So let's take a look at what we have to make this morning. All right, so we have one stop down in Abbott, Texas, and we should be there for about 25 minutes. I'm probably gonna charge for quite a while we're there and then make it to Austin, and we should be there about 1:20, and it's about 9 o'clock, so about 4 hours, a little bit over 4 hours to get there. So I am gonna stop and get some breakfast here somewhere locally and hit the road. All right, so we made really good timing. It is 11:06 a.m., arrived at 8%. It says to be here for 25 minutes, but that doesn't matter. This is the last stop before Giga Austin. I'm actually going to be picking up my sister-in-law in Austin before going to the plant. So I'll have to add that destination in there, but I want to get plenty of charge so I don't have to worry about charging later. But there are chargers down here in Austin. So again, add stop, and you can hit charging and you can see where all those chargers are. So as it sits right now, there's no superchargers right by the plant, it looks like, but in Austin there's plenty around. So I'm gonna go ahead and get plugged in. This is a decent spot. It's a kind of like a travel center or a truck stop, I guess. So there should be some dining in there, and it is 78 degrees and I'm wearing shorts, and y'all know how to do it down here south. So I'm gonna go ahead and get plugged in, get a bite to eat, and we'll get moving. All right, so I've gone ahead and added all of our stops here. I am gonna go ahead and stop at Round Rock. It is a V3. I'm gonna top off there, and then I'll pick up my sister-in-law, and then we'll head over to Giga Austin. So I've added a local business nearby her. That way I'm not giving her address out. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and unplug here at 84%. Should arrive at Round Rock at 33% in about an hour and 40 minutes. It's 107 miles away. Should be there about 1:20. Made it to the last charging stop, 34% at 1:30. Traffic is kind of hit and miss, but crazy when it hits. Anyways, I'm gonna be here for just a little bit and try to get enough juice to drive around, not have to worry about charging. So that's the plan. This particular charger is in a really good spot because there's plenty of restaurants around. It is a little bit hectic with the traffic, but These are all V3 chargers here, and it's front and back, and there's a ton of them. Really good charging spots. That last leg was 108 miles, 36 kilowatt hours consumed, 336 watt hour per mile. So I'm gonna go ahead and get plugged in. I'm gonna pick this back up once we're at Giga Austin. So I'll catch up with you there. All right, so my time here in Austin has been great. Let's see where we're at on the trip so far. So for the whole trip, we're at 1,179 miles, 399 kilowatt hours consumed, and 338 watt hour per mile. So the weather down here is great. I'm not complaining at all. Almost New Year's Day, and at night it's 70 degrees. Pretty awesome. So with all that said, that's where we're at for part one of this trip. And in the next part, starting right now, I'm actually headed to Colorado, and I'll be staying in the state park there. I got a campsite, but I won't be there tonight. I'll be there tomorrow. So part two should kick off here very soon, and it's going to be starting right now, heading to Colorado and staying there for the night before finally heading back home. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, give it the thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe so you can catch parts 2 and part 3 when those post as well. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.